Ah yes, the free-to-play wilderness. There are definitely players in the PK worlds, but is anyone around in the deep Wildy? There's really only a handful of reasons to take the risk, and I bet most people are unwilling for such lackluster rewards. So is it worth PKing out here? I'm gonna find out by checking out the most active hotspots and rating them to really gauge this cursed wasteland during what some may call the golden age of RuneScape. First up are the Moss Giants, where the drop rate for mossy keys is increased, making it a hotspot for people wanting to get their hands on the Bryophyta staff. Unfortunately, the staff just recently dropped in value, so I'm wondering if the activity here also declined. In my last video, I camped the Moss Giants until I had 100 mossy keys, and I fought back against the PKers. I still can't believe some of the anti-PKs I got out here. Many PKers feel like the PVMers here are free loot, bots, or simply AFK. I can honestly see how they feel like that. While testing the area out, I found so many what I think are bots that put up close to no fight. It was so active here that I very quickly was able to PK 5 keys, and I was pleasantly surprised that each key was worth over 100k. This is probably my favorite place to PK unwilling players in free-to-play. With the random bot farms you might run into, or PKers that risk way too much, you just never know what you're gonna get. I highly recommend PKing out here if you're looking for a fun time that won't just be hopping world to world looking for players, or even just training your stats while looking for keys to open up those juicy Bryo loot crates. Next up are the Runite rocks, a huge moneymaker in the free-to-play scene as long as you have 85 mining. This highly contested spot is very active, but also very controlled. Lots of groups, clans, and people playing on multiple accounts. With it being in the highest levels of the wilderness and multi surrounding this spot, it makes it quite dangerous for solo PKers. Utilizing the multi-lines plugin on Runite gives you the best understanding where multi starts and stops. Too many times will you find yourself being logged in on by too many accounts to count and have to survive the onslaught. This spot can get extremely infuriating when you just want to PK helpless Runite miners. I feel like a lower level account would be the way to go here, probably just a mage peer or something. That way you can attack the Runite miners, but avoid all the PKers, clans, and teams. I found an awesome fight out here with the pure, and as we fought we moved all the way down to the Moss Giants. To my surprise, I believe this guy could have been solo, looking for some free loot or something, I don't know. But other than that one fight, I didn't really have a fun time here. In the future, I might test my luck out here while playing multiple accounts. It might make for some interesting content. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future free-to-play shenanigans. Directly south of the Runite rocks is another active spot due to the free money literally sitting on the floor. Steel plate bodies and earth staves spawn at the lava maze and can easily be gathered or high out for a cool free profit, plus some nice magic XP. While gathering the plates here, I like to telegrab the staves. You definitely want to utilize the World Hopper plugin on Runite here, and if you sit in the area for 15 minutes, you'll lose your aggro, which makes gathering the plate bodies much easier, since the lesser demons are a bit annoying otherwise. I spent a full hour hopping here to find players and see if the method still holds a high profit per hour. During my time, I ran into 2 players I was able to PK, but I did see more players than that. Some were too low leveled, and some were killing hill giants in the maze just a bit south. I tried going for 2 of the players at the hill giants, but one of them must have noticed and the other was too high of a level. At the end of the hour, I made 240k before the rune costs. I ended up with 2 keys from one of the PKers since they already had a PK of their own. It's definitely risky to sit out here with low food, so you definitely don't want to do what I did and just wait to lose aggro from the lesser demon. I also ran after one of the players killing hill giants and I lost my aggro doing that. This is definitely an interesting little spot to PK at. It's still a good money maker for free to play, and I've gotten some interesting kills out here before. If you're looking for a more challenging way to fight unwilling players, or want a chance at some big loot, look no further than the Ferox enclave. On World 308, a lot of players gather to fight other PKers, and this means some players feel like risking a lot more than they should. This is definitely a very dangerous spot, as many of the PKers here are max or experienced and not very helpless. But some think they can go out in full rune and take no ranged attacks. This makes it a very easy spot to utilize teleblock and snare to wither away their food and get some free loot. Especially when they risk an enormous amount such as the Bryo staff or some fancy armor cosmetics. My preferred method of scoping out the spot is definitely AFK splashing while watching what players decide to take the plunge into the risky wilderness right outside the Ferox enclave. Remember, if you're teleblocked, there is no running back into the safe zone or the portal. Although, the shallow wilderness level makes running south a very easy escape, but only if RNG allows for it. Luring players up north to have more wilderness to work with is one of the best methods to secure a PK here. Not everyone will be lured though, and some instantly run south when they get teleblocked. Most players understand that it isn't a fair fight when you're far casting and snaring them, but you just never know what is going through some people's minds. Camping this area with a few different level accounts is another good strategy, since being able to attack players all the way down to Edgeville means more damage over time. Be quick with the snares, and sometimes RNG will bless you with some good loot here. There are several other spots that players might frequent in the free-to-play wilderness, but they just aren't as active. I'm not really counting Edgeville, even though that is another hotspot for PvP. You just don't have any wilderness there to be able to get those unwilling players sent back to Lumbee. Telegrabbing nature runes by the demonic runes can net you around 100k per hour. That doesn't really seem worth it unless you're PKing players there. The demonic runes are a good spot to train while using prayer, killing the greater demons for runeful helms, since your prayer regenerates near the runes. But you are sitting in multi. Selling items to the bandit duty free shop is a great way to maximize profits, since this shop buys items at a higher cost than the normal general stores. But don't risk too much loot out here, since the lowest price this store buys items for is identical to every other shop. I gave each of these locations a chance to surprise me, but sadly, I was unable to find any players doing these activities. Other than a player hunting runefuls from the greater demons, risking absolutely nothing. Which is definitely the way to utilize the demonic runes, monk robes and a rune skin. Let me know if I'm missing any free-to-play spots. All in all, I gotta say that I do love PKing in free-to-play. The combat is very methodical and requires fewer game knowledge, making it a great place to learn PvP while risking next to nothing. It is also such a nice feeling not getting randomly stacked out by a Voidwaker or Claw's Gmaul combo. Free-to-play definitely feels like RuneScape 2 in a way. Shout out O4scape for actually showing me what RuneScape was like in 2004. Moss Giants are definitely the place to PK unwilling players in free-to-play, and if you haven't, you need to check out how I anti-PK'd in free-to-play at the Moss Giants while hunting 100 mossy keys. I really wanted a chance at the staff again since it was around 14 mil when I made the anti-PKing video. It was such a fun ride, but actually, it surprised me how profitable it was even before killing Bryophyta.